a huge fucking nerd. That's right, I'm a huge fucking nerd. I like lots of books and computers, 'cause I am a huge fucking nerd.
One-of-a-kind shades made to order by Vaporshades.com. Vaporshades designs the outer layer of the sunglasses just like a wrap on a car. They customize your sunglasses, marbling the paint. The end result is no two pair of sunglasses are alike. Yours will be completely unique to you. Check us out at Vaporshades.com. Use promo code Tuddle for 15% off your entire order. Get ready for your daily dose of Tuddle.
The all-time greatest intern/producer we've ever had, of course, Tuddle. Tuddle in Florida.
From the Vaporshades Hobo Fish Camp, it's the Tuddle Daily Podcast.
No wonder nobody likes you, Tuddle. Everything's a goddamn debate.
Welcome to another edition of the Tuddle Daily Podcast. Hope you guys are having a great day so far. I apologize for taking Sunday off. I haven't done it in a while. I have not missed 2 days in 1 week and, goddamn, maybe 6 or 7 months. But I was busy. I went to Tampa this past weekend. Ended up hanging out with my good friend Colton. Had a great time. Just needed to get away a little bit. Check out my website, Tuddle.net. That's Tuddle with 2 Ds, TUDDLE.net. When you go to Tuddle.net, you're going to be able to find any of the places that I am online. Could be on social media, YouTube, any of the podcasts. You can go to my PayPal. I mean, that's something that I haven't given out in a while. I'm doing pretty well right now with the sponsors that I have, but I'm about to move to a new place, and I bought a shed. Maybe not the best for sound when it comes to recording a podcast because it's metal, but I'm gonna insulate the whole inside of it. I'm gonna put a window shaker in it. And I don't want you to think this is going to be like some Tom and Dan studio. No, it's going to be fitting for me. I think a shed is a step up from a beat-up 2006 PT Cruiser. I've been saving my money, but if you guys want to help me out, because any of the money that you send me, because I've been saving up, I've been helping my mom and dad with the rent here at the Hobo Fish Camp, but I've also been putting money away because I want to upgrade my equipment. I know that I've said plenty of times that equipment does not make a podcast, but it would be much easier if I had the equipment that I could do bigger and better things. The quality of the audio and the video that I do is going to be way, way better. So if you'd like to donate, you can easily do that. PayPal.me/Tuddle on the radio. That's PayPal.me/Tuddle on the radio. I don't care if it's $1, whatever it may be. I write back everybody that wants to donate. So even $1 will help. You can do that. Go to my PayPal, PayPal.me/Tuddle on the radio. Let's get this bitch started. When I first started back with the Bubba the Love Sponge show back in 2015, I was responsible of pulling news audio that we would be able to play on the air, looking for news stories. Me and Pantera were the only ones that would do most of the show prep, find the audio, and we would always try to outdo each other. Like, we almost made it a little bit of a competition to be able to find the worst, most fucked up story you could ever think of. And we didn't do that because we like seeing that type of stuff, but we like to get those type of news stories because we're going to make the comments. We're going to ask the questions. I mean, that's what Bubba the Love Sponge was great doing. I remember one time there was this couple, this redneck couple that accidentally left their kid in a hot car, and she ended up dying. And Bubba was making jokes about they hot baked potatoed the baby and stuff. And yes, it's sad that the baby died. Of course, it is extremely, extremely sad that the baby died. But these redneck parents, the first thing that they were doing, instead of grieving for their kid, they set up a PayPal account or a GoFundMe, one of these Kickstarter programs, to be able to raise money. And I think they ended up getting like $80,000 or $90,000. And originally it was supposed to be just to bury the kid. But no, you're not going to see the local TV news stations cover it the way that we did. And we were asking these questions. It's like, all right, I mean, how, number one, I completely understand that people accidentally leave their kids in the car. I don't know how it happens. I'm not a parent, so I really can't say anything. But what I'm trying to say is, I know if I have a kid, I'm not going to leave the goddamn thing in a hot-ass car in Florida. So those are the type of stories that me and Pantera would try to find all the time. Now, this is a story. Now, it really didn't make the news, but this woman, I think she might be from Orange County. She ended up getting caught for something. I don't know the complete backstory because the news actually never covered this. I ended up finding this audio on World Star Hip Hop. And this girl, I guess the officers, the Leo, maybe saw her put something down her pants. Probably like drugs. If you've never had a run-in with the cops, usually they're male officers. And if you got a chick hanging out in the group, that's cool. For the most part, you make her hold the drugs when you get pulled over. Because if it's a male cop, they're not going to be able to pat down a female suspect until they're able to get a woman on scene to be able to do it. And I just absolutely love this woman's excuse for why she had her hands down her pants when the cop asked her, what were you hiding?
I didn't obstruct any.
And trying to hide evidence.
I didn't.
Right here.
I didn't.
You don't want to see? You don't want to watch this video?
Yeah, I would love to. Because I was fixing my coochie lips.
Listen, I'm all for gender equality, but I also don't think that Florida woman gets enough credit. Everybody wants to talk about Florida man. Everybody wants to talk about Florida man all methed out with a knife, fighting a rooster or something. No. Florida man has nothing on Florida woman, and you heard her correctly. She said she was adjusting her coochie lips, not putting drugs down her pants, but adjusting her vagina lips.
So there's a bag right there being shoved into your pants.
That's not my bag. That's not a bag. That's my fucking coochie lips hanging out, dude.
While we're on Florida, we have concealed carry permits here in the state of Florida. We also have the Castle Doctrine. We also have Stand Your Ground. But this bitch, her pussy lips were not concealed. Her pussy lips was straight up open carry. She had that shit right on her waist, ready to go, buddy. Her pussy lips were locked and loaded.
There's a bag you're putting in there.
Whatever.
You go to the hospital and take it out.
Okay. No, they bend and cough me. It'll be cool.
On the outside, all the other countries probably think, oh man, the United States, that is just one whole united country. No, and that is the furthest thing from the truth. But I gotta tell you, what people in the South, especially Florida, finds hot, the people up north might not think that it is hot. But when a woman says, yeah, go ahead, bend over and I'll bend over and cough me. Oh my God. I went from 3/4 his to full his when I heard her say, yeah, bend over and cough me.
It shows you taking out of your pants by the top and taking it.
I didn't though. Look, I emptied my pockets for you before I got in here.
In your pants, man.
There's not in my pants.
See, this is a great thing about living in the state of Florida. We have something here called the Sunshine State Law, which means any of that information has to, by law, be available for the voters, the citizens that live here in the Sunshine State. So if you get arrested, hell, you know what? When I got arrested for my tag light being out, because I was driving on a suspended license, and a lot of you guys were like, oh, why were you driving on a suspended license? I had an E-Pass. Orlando is notorious. There are more toll roads in Orlando than any other goddamn big metropolitan city here in the state of Florida. So I had an e-pass. I had just moved. I wasn't getting the things because I had one of those old e-passes that would beep or whatever whenever you went through. And it was beeping. It was beeping and beeping and beeping, but I was not getting the things that were saying, oh, your e-pass isn't working. So my license was suspended, and I ended up getting pulled over. They ended up taking my ass to jail, and guess what? The listeners, the supporters, whatever you want to call it, of Real Radio 104.1 knew exactly. They were on top of it so quick. My mugshot was out there for everybody to see. But, I mean, those are the breaks. I mean, when you're a broadcaster and maybe a public figure, I hate calling myself a public figure, but yeah, it was not great. But, see, you can find out so much about these people. This chick's name is Rebecca Kozub, K-O-Z-U-B. Kozub was arrested for possession of a controlled substance. She also alleged to have tampered with evidence and transported drug paraphernalia. Kozub was the passenger of a white two-door vehicle stopped for speeding. Trooper Waterman, I didn't get a chance to see Trooper Waterman, but I'm pretty sure he was rugged, noted that after he activated his emergency equipment, the vehicle continued driving for 1 to 2 miles before coming to a stop, despite having had several places to safely pull off the roadway. According to the trooper, while behind the vehicle, I could see the passenger through the back windshield moving around a lot. Upon the vehicle stopping, made a passenger side approach, requested the driver's license, vehicle information, and informed the reason for the stop. While standing at passenger side, the driver became concerned about getting a ticket. Now, okay, so did you actually see her? And I don't want you to think that I'm going against the law enforcement officer. I'm not. But, like, if you were behind them, how do you know that this bitch put drugs or whatever in her vagina? The driver positively identified as Mr. Gregory Palimo. Yeah, see, I mean, there's so many shady people here in Florida. From his Florida driver's license, and the passenger positively identified by her name and date of birth as Miss Rebecca Kozub. While standing at the passenger side of the vehicle, I could clearly see the passenger had several sores on her legs and face. Now, I looked at the mugshot of Rebecca. Yes, she does have some sores, but when we're talking Florida hotness, a couple of sores, it does not mean a goddamn thing. Because I've seen a lot of hot women that have sores on their face, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, it's from picking, from doing methamphetamine. I mean, that's called the Florida birthmark for a reason, because they're scratching because of all the methamphetamine use. But the trooper said, based on experience with narcotic users, I know they tend to pick at their skin, causing sores like these. Furthermore, the occupants were consistently moving around and could not stay still, which is a common use with narcotic use. Now, I would automatically be busted because I have that restless leg syndrome. I'm very high strung. I'm always moving. So, yeah, they would automatically, without a doubt, they'd be like, yep, that guy's on meth. Let's tackle Tuddle. Let's tase Tuddle. He's on methamphetamines because he's all twitchy. No, that's just how I am, officer. The trooper then deployed Canine Rico. Okay, see, this is another thing that I've noticed about Florida Highway Patrolmen or law enforcement officers, especially here in the state of Florida. Isn't it a little, maybe just a little tiny racist that they name all their canines after Spanish guys like Rico? Rico to conduct an exterior air sniff of the vehicle. The trooper later informed Mr. Palimo and Miss Kozub and I that the canine Rico alerted to narcotics inside of the vehicle. Now, once again, I completely support law enforcement, but let's be honest. Come on. We all know that they're able to get those dogs to be able to alert. I don't know if it's a visual or an auditory signal. Maybe the guy taps his foot on the ground. So they end up wanting to search the car because of the dog. They were eventually found inside of Miss Kozub, from whose pants would emerge a purple case containing 4 cap needles, 1 clear plastic bag containing 2 metal spoons. Oh, yeah. This is either methamphetamines or black tar heroin, along with 2 more needles, a clear glass pipe. Yep. That is crack cocaine. Oh, it is meth. And 13 grams of methamphetamine. Mr. Palermo was released with a warning for speed on December 7th, 2020. A notice of no information was filed, but in Miss Kozub's case, declining prosecution. So what I'm trying to say is that they had this bitch dead to rights, but I don't understand why you would use the excuse of your pussy lips being adjusted for you stuffing things down your pants.
So we'll bring you to the hospital.
Okay.
So you know, if you can't retrieve it right now, it's multiple felonies to hide it.
So you know, earlier when I mentioned that I did go to jail, a lot of people get this confused. I did not go to prison. I went to jail. They sent me to 33rd, the 33rd precinct, or whatever they want to call it. If you live in Orlando, you know exactly where it is. It's right there off of John Young Parkway. When I went in there was a lot of guys, because I was getting booked in at the same exact time. But all of them were like, oh, man, I got to take a shit. My stomach's hurting me, my nerves. I'm all fired up. I got to take a shit. So before they put you in, like, the main holding area, while you're waiting to be processed and then go to your cell or your block, whatever it may be, they put you in this little holding cell, and there is 1 toilet in there. And that's the thing about it. If you are pee shy or you have a problem going in front of people in jail, jail is not for you. I'm sorry, because you get absolutely no privacy. But these guys that were complaining about their stomach problems, those mother effers were flushing stuff down the toilet as quickly as they can, because if you bring in contraband into a jail, that is another felony charge that's going to be stacked right on top of what you're already in trouble for.
But if you make us go all the way to the jail, and you have to...
Sir, I swear, when I'm telling you I was adjusting my coochie lips...
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to shock jock here. I'm really, really not. But the way that this woman is talking about her vagina lips, I gotta see it. It's like, a lot of people don't want to look at death and carnage. But, I mean, it is, I want to rubberneck her vagina lips. I want to just drive by and look at it. I know there's some people dead in that car, and I know I don't want to look, but I gotta look. And that's exactly what I'm saying. The way that this woman is talking about how she just had to adjust her vagina lips, I gotta see it. I'm sorry. Maybe I'm the only one. Maybe I'm the only one with enough balls to admit, but I got to see this chick's vagina lips.
Checking my pockets to make sure I had nothing on me. To be honest, if you want... No, sir. To be honest, I was making sure I had nothing on me. Where's this female officer? Like, let her pat me down. I was fixing my coochie lips.
I gotta give it to her. I got to give it to this woman standing by the coochie lip defense. Every time she brings it up, I think of Johnny Cochran during the O.J. Simpson trial, trying to fit that glove on and just showing the jury, like, listen, it does not fit. I mean, I could only imagine if she would have had Johnny Cochran back in the day, and he would have been like, if the coochie lips don't fit, you must acquit.
Help you with what, though? Like,
Retrieve whatever you have hidden. That's all we're asking you to do. That's all we're asking. want you to retrieve what you have hidden in your pants.
Listen, I didn't take anything out of my pants.
We're trying to help you out. Okay? However, we can't help you out. Listen, once we go to the jail, okay, and they put you through the scanner, okay, they're going to see what you shoved up your pants.
I'm sure it's because I have not had sex in a while. I've not had that release. But I got to tell you, I really don't give a goddamn about the sores. This chick is definitely white trash Florida hot. I'm going to post her mugshot up on my social media pages. Just search it, twitter.com/Tuddle, facebook.com/Tuddle, instagram.com/Tuddle, any of those, because I would like to hear from you. I would like to hear from you. Would you bang this chick or not? You can leave me a voicemail, 407-270-3044, or you can leave me an email, Tuddle@gmail.com. That's Tuddle with 2 D's, TUDDLE @gmail.com.
Listen, unless you help us out, and you can retrieve it for us.
Because I might have a bowl in my pussy.
All right, so the whole time she's been calling it coochie, what was going through her mind? Was it like, all right, so I've been using the word coochie for a while, and they're not believing me right now. So if I step up my game, go a little bit more offensive, and I go from coochie to pussy, they might start believing me a little bit more. I mean, she did. She was like, I put a bowl in my pussy. Now, what a bowl could, when I think a bowl, we all think of potheads, hippies, weed smokers, whatever it may be. I don't know if you smoke methamphetamine out of a bowl. I'm sure it's possible. I mean, as far as I know, it was all out of like a glass pipe. You could kind of fit that subgenre of drug use, crack cocaine and methamphetamine with that glass pipe and that chore boy, so you don't suck all the crack cocaine or methamphetamine into the back of your throat. Yeah.
Right, but I didn't put nothing in my pants. There was something in my, in there already.
Oh, good play. I know exactly where she was going with this one, because she said something might have already been up there. And what do guys hate more than anything to talk about? Are periods, tampons, pads, whatever it may be. We're like, oh, yeah, okay, cool. Because you know that officer would be in a lot of trouble if there was no drugs in there and she was just readjusting her bloody tampon or something. Who knows? And once again, I'm not trying to shock, but I mean, this bitch does have a lot of sores on her face. I mean, I saw it in the mugshot. I got to tell you, though, the police cameras, whatever cameras they're using, Instagram or all these women that are just trying to get attention with all these Instagram filters, because this woman talking about her vagina lips look pretty goddamn good on those police cameras. I don't know what type of Snapchat filter or Instagram filter they're using, but man, the law enforcement officers in Orange County need to get on that, because she looked good. Now, when you look at her mugshot, not so much. But so what I'm trying to say is, I liked the way this woman's trying to go there. I already had something up there which makes me believe she's talking about a tampon.
I know what it looks like, but there was nothing in it. Like, there was no bag. It was just a fucking bowl. And it was already in my pussy.
I'm telling you right now, it's all in the way she delivered that line, pussy. I mean, there are some words that women will say that will automatically drive a guy right up the wall. One of mine is panties. And I know panties is so like innocent, but when I hear a woman just say panties, and when I say it, it just sounds weird and creepy, like Buffalo Bill standing in front of that mirror, putting on the makeup and the lipstick saying, "I'd fuck me." No. When I'm just saying, when a woman says panties, yes, it's hot. And also, when some white trash, meth out bitch says pussy, yeah, it's kind of hot.
I'll take that out for you. Like, that's all there is.
You're in the back of the car, okay? We clearly see you take something out of your pocket and shove it up your pants, okay? Listen, okay, before we before we go down to the jail, we run you through the scanner. They find what is in your pants, okay? That's another felony.
There's not, but it's not in my pants. It's in my pussy. And it was
All right, I'm sorry. This woman is kicking it out wide for this officer, and that's the only reason she went from using the word coochie to pussy. She's basically daring the officer. Come and get it, Mr. Officer. Come get it, Johnny Law. Come find this bowl that I stuck right in my pussy, and then maybe while you're down there, I'll make it worth your while, and you don't have to take me to jail on this one, so I don't get my 25th mugshot because of the Florida sunshine laws. Yes, come find my bowl in my pussy.
already there. I swear that when I was going for what I was going for in my pocket, I was making sure there was nothing in there just in case. And then I'm adjusting the bowl that was already in my pussy. I didn't put nothing in my pussy.
So like I said earlier, if you want to be able to check out this chick, the one that was talking about her vagina lips and how she wasn't hiding any paraphernalia in it, go to any of my social media. Just search Tuddle. Tuddle with two D's, Tuddle. I was able to get in on the ground floor. So if you go to Instagram, it's Instagram.com/Tuddle, Twitter.com/Tuddle, Facebook.com/Tuddle. It is just all Tuddle. Gonna take a quick break. Be back in a few minutes. You are listening to the Tuddle Daily Podcast.
He's a nerd,
I've only been arrested one time.
a radio personality,
Professionally, I'm not in the best position that I've ever been in.
and hot talk satirizer.
You would think with everything that's going on, a Caucasian like myself wouldn't be able to randomly talk to an African American or a minority.
You're listening to the Tuddle Daily Podcast. Wish you could have just flown and had your vehicle arrive a day or two later so you can enjoy more time doing what's important to you? Well, you can. Just give Starfire Transport a call. Let the professionals do the driving while you're flying. Starfire Transport specializes in RV and auto transport. They'll also haul watercraft from boats to PWCs, cargo trailers, and more. Service available throughout the continental United States. So don't wait. Call Brian today at 574-349-4193 or 989-751-6106 for your next move. 10% off for veterans past or present. Also, make sure to tell them Tuddle sent you for an additional discount. That's Starfire Transport.
All right, guys, welcome back to the Tuddle Daily Podcast. It's funny. I'm always like state or regional loyal. Like, for example, in college football, if the Gators don't make it to the Final Four, I always root for the SEC. Now, I grew up a Dolphins fan. Matter of fact, my next guest actually took me to see my first Miami Dolphins football game. It's my cousin, Billy, from WeDoPodcast.com to come on and chat a little bit about the Bucs. I don't care about all those talking heads in Tampa. Nobody knows more about the Bucs than my cousin Billy. Billy, how are you?
I'm going good, man. How you been, Tuddle? Let's go Bucs, man. Super Bowl.
I know. See, you sound like you have an extra spring to your step right now, watching the game. But before we get into talking about the Bucs, I've been on as a guest on your podcast, and I actually got to do a podcast with you and your son last week. Now, I'm a little confused here. We're cousins, so what does your son, like your son would be my what, second cousin?
I believe he's your second cousin.
Okay, so, but you have a podcasting website, and I know that you talk a lot about triathletes, triathlons, working out and stuff like that. Talk a little bit about your podcast, WeDoPodcast.com.
Yeah, we started it, let's see, we're on our second season, and we've done 4 episodes this time. We deal a lot with endurance sports. We talk to folks like Dave Scott. He's a triathlon legend. I talked to
give me something he did. Give me something. Okay. Somebody that isn't in the triathlons and stuff. Give me something that would like the normal person would find impressive.
Okay, well, he was one of the very first people to finish the Ironman race in Kona. There was a book written just about him in Mark Allen called Iron Wars, and it was the closest race ever in any kind of sport, meaning closer than any marathon, anything like that. The two of them battled for 13 hours and then were shouting distance of each other for the entire time. So he is a
Is that the triathlon in Hawaii?
Yes.
It is that one because they run through like that desert area that has like all the like volcanic rock. Yeah.
Yeah, it's called the Energy Lab area. That's where all the volcanoes and stuff are. But yeah, these two guys battled. They swam for 2.4 miles, then hopped on the bike and rode 112 miles out and back through those lava fields. And then after that, they only went for a 26.2 mile run.
What is the hardest thing out of the three? I know that you're doing is the swimming always in the beginning? Does it always go in that order? It always goes in that order. Okay.
Yep.
What is the one thing? Because I mean, for you to win a triathlon, you got to be at least good in everything.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But like, okay, you've done them. What is the hardest one? What is the hardest like segment for you, or what do people say?
Well, the first person out of the pool or out of the water is never the winner. That's for sure.
Are you for real? Why is that? Do they say why? Because they use too much energy swimming? Because swimming, when I played baseball, my dad, all of our baseball coaches said, I don't want to catch you swimming during baseball season because it just drains so much energy.
A lot of the folks that get into triathlon usually have a bit of a swimming background. And so they usually go out way too hard on the swim, and then they have nothing left. The triathlon is a balance of matches that you have. That's what I tell the people I coach, is that you're only given a certain amount of matches. You want to use them all. You want to be able to light them off periodically throughout the race, but you don't want to have any left in your pocket when you cross the finish line. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
So you're trying to balance the amount of matches that you're using. You'll use one a little bit on the swim. You want to save them for the run because you ride for show and you run for dough, meaning the run is where the money's made. You could be the fastest cyclist and then get to the run and you have nothing left. You're going to end up walking.
Is triathlons in the Olympics? Because if not, why isn't it? Because
it is. It was back in Rio the last time we actually had a summer Olympic. One of my guests that I just had on last week, his wife was the first gold medalist in triathlon. They do a little different distance, though. They do the international distance. So instead of doing the 2.4 mile swim,
are you talking between men and women? Because I've golfed with you, and when I've golfed with you, you would always make, you're hitting from the women's tee or whatever. Like, I mean, is there any difference between women and men when they're doing it?
Triathlon knows no boundary, no gender. There's 3 different distances. There's actually 4. If you're talking about, there's a full Ironman that we were talking about Dave Scott does. Then there's a half an Ironman. Then there's an international distance, which is even a quarter of that. Then there's the sprint distance, which is the shortest of them.
Mm-hmm. All right. So before we get into the Bucs, you said you do some coaching. If anybody wants to maybe reach out to you, maybe get some coaching or some guidance and stuff, is there a place that they can reach you?
Oh, yeah. They can go to, just send me an email, billyprice@gmail.com.
All right. So let's move on to the Bucs. Okay.
Yeah. Woo.
Now my biggest audience. See, this is the thing. We've been doing podcasts. You've been doing podcasts. I've worked in Orlando and Tampa, but for some reason, the analytics I get, nobody in Orlando is listening to me, which I find virtually impossible. But Tampa is by far my biggest market. Now, Tampa has kind of had some bad luck when it comes to this pandemic, okay? So listen to the things that Tampa has missed out on, okay? Beginning of the year, WrestleMania. WrestleMania was supposed to be at Ray J. Canceled. You get the Tampa Bay Lightning. They make it to the Stanley Cup final. It wasn't canceled, but they didn't get any home Stanley Cup final games, okay?
Played in Canada.
Now the Rays, they didn't win the World Series, but with Tampa still did not get a World Series. Okay,
Played on a neutral zone again.
exactly. Okay, so now we're moving on to the Super Bowl. For the most part, Super Bowls, the audience is not the true fans. It's usually the rich and elite that are going to Super Bowls. Any idea what they say, the attendance, like what percentage they're going to allow into Ray J for the Super Bowl?
I have heard today that it's going to be around 22,000 people. And of that 22,000, 7,500 will be first responders.
Yes, I think that's cool.
Yep.
I think that is so cool. Now, all right, so let's get to the game. But before we do that, I want to get a little bit of background with you. Okay. So I grew up, I always knew you as a Buccaneers fan.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't want anybody to think that my cousin Billy is a bandwagon fan. He was following the Bucs from the orange creamsicle uniform days, the winless season. What made you a Bucs fan? Like what made you choose to be a Bucs fan?
Well, growing up, a lot of my friends were either Pittsburgh Steelers fans or Dallas Cowboy fans, and I wanted to forge my own path. So I went to the calendar or went to the see where all the Bucs or all of the football teams were, and I said, "Well,
it was that or the Bengals.
Yeah,
it was the Bengals." Or
and I was like, you know what? I like orange, and Tampa is the closest to me, so I am now a Bucs fan. That was back in 1979 when they went.
What was the first Bucs game you went to, like in person?
Oh, that was probably like Green Bay Packers back in when I was in high school. So mid 80s.
But that was when they were in the same division. That whole division thing was so messed up because the Bucs and the Packers and the Vikings. I'm like, why is there a team all the way in the South playing in the same division as a bunch of Northerners?
Yeah, it was a mess. But I in 79 I went down and I was able to save up a bunch of Coke bottles that I had, back then they were recyclable.
The good old days.
Yeah. And I saved up enough Coke bottles to go down to the local market, which is actually down from where you used to live. And they had a Bucs t-shirt that was hanging up behind the counter. And I was like, it said Tampa Bay Buccaneers 1979 NFC champions or NFC Central champs. I said, I'm buying that. So I went around the neighborhood, found them, and the rest is history. I've been a Bucs fan ever since then.
What's the name? I always flips my mind, but what's the name of the guy that was on the original Bucs logo? What did they call him?
Bucko Bruce.
Oh, Bucko Bruce. So,
so the swashbuckler.
So you went through the lean years. Do you remember the winless season?
I was I came on right after. Actually, it was 26 games in a row that they lost. So I came on.
Is that still an NFL record? Is that still an NFL?
Yeah,
it is. All right, so now you went through all those years. You got to see the Bucs in 2002, 2003 make it to the Super Bowl, and let me tell you people how proud my cousin was that the Bucs won. This is back in the day before you could get all fancy and get like really high def answering voicemail messages. Like this sounded like he put his cell phone up against like a tape recorder or something, but it was like this big drawn out like production. The Buccaneers, your 2002, 2003 Super Bowl champs. And then he's just self-flossing the whole time. And then it's like, leave me a message after the beep. And I'm like, being a Dolphins fan, I'm like, GD, man, I can't believe. But I get it, because if I was a Dolphins fan, I would do the same exact thing.
Yeah, back in 2002, 2003, when the Bucs did win last time when they went to the Super Bowl, we didn't have a lot of Facebook and stuff like that. So I went down my contacts that I had on my phone and called everybody and said, "Hey, remember how you made fun of me for wearing orange all the time?" Ha! And just hung up,
All right, so let's talk about last night's game. A lot of people were talking about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers record in cold weather games, okay? And I was like, are you guys not realizing who the quarterback of the Bucs are right now? I think Tom Brady, in my opinion, my opinion, played in the worst weather football game of all time, the
Yes.
Tuck Rule game. Them versus the Oakland Raiders to get to the Super Bowl to win their first Super Bowl. I'm like, Tom Brady, he's your quarterback, man. The cold weather is not going to affect them. Were you worried going into this game?
No, not as far as cold weather goes, because I mean, yeah, it was only, I think it was 28 degrees at game time, but the blizzard that came through actually came through Saturday night. There was 4 inches of snow that came through the night before the game. For the game, it was fine. No snow, very little wind. It was like I said, 28 degrees, but no big deal.
Yeah. So now they won. What were the keys? Why were the Bucs? Okay. Now Brady still had a good game, but he had some throwing errors.
Yep.
Okay.
Like three picks.
So what kept the Bucs in the game? Because my dad was like the defense. If it was not for the defense, they would not have been able to win that game.
I tell you, I was talking to you and I had Cooper on, and he and I decided after looking at Ndamukong Suh's Instagram post about the game changer of the game, Vita Vea, the man broke his foot. He had a broken leg in week 5, and he came back to play this time. He was the difference maker. He caused the pocket to move in, to collapse. That gave the single coverage on the outsides for folks like Shaquille Barrett and folks like Jason Pierre-Paul. Shaq had 3 sacks, and Pierre-Paul had 2. Then you look at that single coverage gave people like Devin White, who had 15 tackles against. And you remember when
they
you
had a lot of sacks. Rogers was one of the most least sack quarterbacks in the NFL.
Yeah.
And I think the Bucs had 4 or 5, didn't they?
They had 5. Yeah. You know, and last time I talked to you, I compared Devin White to Ray Lewis, and you kind of shook your head, but I think I'm going to make you a believer.
But I mean, come on, Ray. A lot of people will say, "Oh, this is the next Michael Jordan. Oh, this is the next Ray Lewis." So, I mean, yeah, I was wrong on that. Now, so I want to ask you. Okay, so you're a Bucs fan.
Yep.
What were the Packers thinking kicking that field goal instead of going for the touchdown?
You know, looking at the aftermath on NFL Network, I was watching the interview that Aaron Rodgers gave after the game. He didn't know why they went for it. I would, hands down,
what would you have done?
I would have given the ball to my MVP candidate. You know, Aaron Rodgers is the MVP. Give him an opportunity. He's got 8 yards to make. And in fact, that third down play, he could have run it in, I think, if he really would have.
Yeah, you know what's funny? I've been telling people, and they don't believe me. You know, back in the day, in the 90s, the NFL was you had to run, you had to play great defense, okay? So Brady gets the ball back after that field goal, and the safe play is just give it to your running back, run the clock down. What does he do on first down? He throws a pass. And I'm like, that is all the proof that you need that the NFL is a passing league now.
You know, that pass to Mike Evans kind of made me a little scared, but I was telling Cooper, I said, look, if it's going to go to somebody, that is our GOAT before the real GOAT. Mike Evans, he deserves a shot at making that, you know?
Why does Mike Evans not get enough credit? Because is it because he's not that flashy guy that gives you the sound bites every single week? But like, he's done stuff that if we're talking GOATs, Jerry Rice, every year that Mike Evans has played since he started in the league has had at least 1,000 yards.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. And I the only thing I can think of, and what I've heard some of the pundits say, is that we're in a smaller market. You know, although a lot of your listeners are from Tampa, they say that that's a smaller market, and he just doesn't get the attention.
All right, so the Bucs win. How was it? Now, the last time the Bucs made it to the Super Bowl, you weren't a father of a son.
I wasn't even a father of a daughter yet.
No, you weren't. God, man, holy crap. You know, I mean, that's another thing. I can get into that. I watched this whole story about how people say that time goes by faster as you get older,
Mhm.
and they kind of explain why that happens, but I'll have to save that for another one. But how was it to be able to watch your team make it to the Super Bowl with your son?
Oh, it was hands down. I mean, yeah, that first one was something special, but this one's the one I'll remember always because I was sitting on the sofa right next to my son, giving him a high five, and looking into his eyes and saying, "Hey, we're going to the Super Bowl, man." And growing up, for him, he wasn't much of a football fan, and when he was, he told me he liked the Horseshoes and the Dolphins. Those were his teams. So for
the Colts, he was the Colts.
Yeah. So for him to actually be a Bucs fan and watch it the whole season with me, it's definitely one I'm going to remember forever.
All right, so you win now. You're moving on to the Super Bowl. You have 2 weeks to prepare.
Yep.
You get the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm not ready to anoint Patrick Mahomes as like the king of the NFL. But I mean, that offense is really, really good. Now, what do the Bucs need to do to be able to slow down that high-powered Kansas City Chiefs offense? Now, traditional wisdom says you wanna keep the ball. You wanna have long drives when you have the ball to keep them off the field. What can the Bucs do to kind of slow down that offense?
Well, I tell you what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw back on because we have played them this year. It was back on was it January or it was November 29th. We played them in Tampa and we held them to 27 points. Now we spotted them a 17-point lead. If you don't, if I don't know if you watched that game.
No, I don't remember it.
Yeah, and they decided for some reason the head football coach there for the defense, Todd Bowles, decided he's going to match up one-on-one with Tyreek Hill. He said, I'm going to put my best corner on Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill for the game.
Tyreek Hill is the fastest now for the people that don't watch football. He is. I'm correct me if I'm wrong. He is the fastest guy in the NFL, right?
Yeah. He had 200 yards in the first quarter, but the Bucs held them to only 60 yards in the last 3. So they switched it up. They were able to stop them and hold them to only 10 points after spotting them for 17. So they had the ball left with 4 minutes left in the clock, and they were only down by a field goal. The Chiefs were able to run the clock out. That's the only difference from that game at all. So all I would say is if I was whispering in Bruce Arians' ear, I would say just do what you did the last 3 quarters of the game last time you played them.
They like to go, and I got my producer Vulture hit me in my ear. 2 questions, okay? So who does the coaching edge go to? Bruce Arians is not like that sweet name, but then the Kansas City Chiefs head
Andy
coach,
Reid.
he was Andy Reid. He was with the Eagles for a little while, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so who holds the coaching edge? Because everybody says Bruce Arians is the quarterback whisperer, but what good does it do if you're a quarterback whisperer when you got the GOAT? I mean, the GOAT is probably going to tell you more than what you know.
Well, as far as innovation goes, you got to give the Andy Reid the edge on that, just because he's able to do a lot of unique play calling. He's doing a lot of scrambling, a lot of RPOs. Those are things that the Bucs just don't do. A lot of screens, a lot of jet sweeps and things like that the Bucs just don't do. They're more of a old school. We'll drop back and we'll throw the ball, and we're going to see if you can stop us kind of guys.
Okay, so on offense, this is what I'm going to ask you. When the Bucs are on offense, what is going to be their game plan? Are they going to try to establish the run, or are they going to use the passing game to build the run? Because everybody back in the day used to be, well, you run to set up the pass, but now it's kind of reversed, like you pass. They're going to put in a bunch of defensive backs, and then that's when you start pounding it.
Yeah, I really feel like they like to pass to set up the run rather than run to set up the pass. Bruce has been quoted as saying that he wants to run when the runs matter, meaning fourth quarter, we've got the ball, we've got the
short
lead.
yardage.
And we're going to just milk the clock. So that's when he really focuses on the run. Look for them to feature Leonard Fournette once again. He had a great game.
He's a great running back, man.
Yeah.
I followed Leonard Fournette because being a Gators fan, LSU had to play the Gators every single year, and Leonard Fournette is just a machine.
Yeah.
Now, my producer wanted me to ask you, what is up with all the missed extra points as of late?
You mean in general in the NFL?
Yeah, I mean in general as well as the Bucs.
Yeah, they did extend it back. It's now more of a field goal than it is an extra point. Back when you and I were growing up, it was set on the 2-yard line, so it was pretty much. I'll quote
a chip shot.
Yeah, a chip shot. But now it's actually like a 25-yard field goal every time. So that's giving a little bit more of a difficult kick for the kickers. I know in Tampa especially, one of the end zones is notorious.
Swirling winds.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So before I let you go, let's once again, if people want to check out, because I want to come on your show as well.
Yeah.
To talk Bucs football. How can people check out any of your stuff, any of your social media? Tell people how they can find you.
Yeah, it's super easy. Just go to wedopodcast.com or hit us up at Facebook at We Do Podcast, Instagram at We Do Podcast. And if they're looking to supplement their daily Tuddle podcast, they can head over and look up We Do Podcast, and we have new episodes drop on Wednesdays.
So yeah, I'm working on those media things. I've already sent out some emails.
Yeah.
So maybe we can do a little correlation with each other. So if I can get us 2 passes, maybe me and you, I can do stuff for my show and then for you.
Yes.
But yeah, I think I could definitely get us into media days for the Super Bowl there. So
now,
I'm definitely working on it.
If you go to media day, are you going to do the Baba Booey?
No. I don't want to be that guy. Like, me. I don't care. I will do anything, but I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to watch Sports Center and be like, oh, some weird dude that looks like the Unabomber or something came in and was asking stupid questions about, the consistency of their number 2 or something, like I'm not going to do that type of stuff. Well, listen, I really appreciate you giving me some time. I wanted to talk about Bucs football. I think it's a big deal. I mean, what a great year for the city of Tampa Bay when it comes to sports. It just sucks. A pandemic was happening during it.
Yeah, I instantly checked to see how much tickets are going for, just in case I wanted to take Cooper, and it's $9,961 a ticket.
Well, it's all about supply and demand. They're not allowing as many people in, so they're gonna jack up the prices. So, I mean, let's see what we can do. I'm gonna come up with some ideas because I would love more than anything to be able to at least get you in there. How do you feel? What if I can get you selling peanuts or beers? Are you down? Like, I'm
not opposed to that. I could work security. I'm a big dude. Yeah, put me at the end zone in one of those yellow vests, and I'll pay attention to the game, not the bad people. You know what I mean?
All right, Billy, check out his podcast, his website, wedopodcast.com.
From the Vapor Shades Hobo Fish Camp.
Man, maybe I would have way more sex partners in my life if I just threw caution to the wind.
It's the Tuddle Daily Podcast. Tuddle's Daily Podcast is brought to you by StitchYouUp.com. For your embroidery, screen printing, vinyl, and direct-to-garment printing needs, visit StitchYouUp.com. Stitch You Up specializes in custom caps, shirts, decals, and anything you want to personalize. Whether it's one item or large orders, they can handle any size. Unsure about what you want? Let Stitch You Up help you with your logo design. Visit StitchYouUp.com or contact them, Eric at StitchYouUp.com. Stitch You Up. Definitely not your grandma's embroidery.
Welcome back to the Tuddle Daily Podcast, last segment of the day. Thought today's show went really, really well. I want to thank all of you people all of my supporters. You know, I call you supporters because I don't like to think of you as fans or listeners, because you guys are just as important as I am when it comes to the growth of this show. Covered a lot of great things today. I know I got a little weird right there at the beginning about the chick that was hiding drug paraphernalia in her lips. I mean, this chick talked about her lips like it was the Sarlacc pit from Return of the Jedi. And then I had a great conversation. I know a lot of you people might not like sports, but goddamn, it's a great year for Tampa Bay sports. And I'm going to pander to my audience, which is mostly made up of Tampa Bay supporters. So yeah, I am a Bucs fan. Even though I grew up a Dolphins fan, right now, go Bucs. Tom Brady is going to be the GOAT. I used to be one of those guys. that was like, oh, Tom Brady isn't all that great. It's all because of Bill Belichick. He's in a system. But guess what? What he's done with the Bucs this year, even if he does not win the Super Bowl, which I think it's going to be a little hard, especially against Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, I hope that they win. But this proves that Brady is the GOAT. The guy's been to goddamn 10 Super Bowls. Nobody can even come close to that. So, all right, guys. Hope you enjoyed today's show. Hope you guys are being safe, and I will talk to you tomorrow.